Okay, guys, so the last time we talked about selecting colors in After Effects. So, but right now we're going to focus on how to create composition in After Effects. All right, so let's get into it. So now to create composition, you can either use the shortcut Control N, which still pops up this dialog box here, right? Or you can just cancel that and go to composition here, right, and create new comp. So in that case, so we have the properties open here. So what we're going to do now is to set the name for, or create a name for the project. So let's use your name. I don't know your name, but let me just use the word your name. So in that case, it's representing your name. Pardon me for that. So all right, so there are various stuff here. So there are different stuff here we have to look at. So first of all, we have the preset. Now this preset basically is not really necessary, but it's only necessary, depends on the kind of stuff you're working on. Like for instance, now they are more like a standard screen format or a standard screen dimension for this. For it just depends on the kind of project you're working on. So, but I think manually, this is how it can do the job, right? So you don't need to always come here to change this preset, except you have a specific purpose. Like for instance, now if you're creating if you are creating this animation for a phone screen, okay, it's not here, but I can actually come here and customize my own dimension here. Let's say I want to create this animation for an app for an iPhone, right? So I just, instead of coming here all the time to type this and this for the iPhone presentation, I can just come here straight and just select it straight. Automatically to just open that size, that dimension, right? So that's what these presets are for. So we don't always need that, except probably for a special purpose. So that's for that. So for this place, pixel aspect ratio, just leave it the way it is. I don't think it's necessary to change it, but just leave it. It works well, right? So for this frame per second, so most of the time, they always advise you to always leave it at 25 frames per second. Though it's not like you can't actually increase it to 60 or so, but that depends on what you probably want to achieve. Like for instance, now what frame per second does, okay, it's basically it contributes to the smoothness of your video, right? Like for instance, now if there is a camera and record a scene at 60 frames per second, trust me, there's a big difference with that. There's a big difference if you also use that camera to record the same scene at the rate of 25 frames per second. So you notice that 60 frames per second has a lot of smoother motions as compared to 25 frames per second. And if I should go that in detail, so explain that, that's for another day because it's so technical. So let's just leave that. So let's just leave this to 25 frames per second. And for the resolution, we can either leave that to full or for third. That depends on the strength of your, or the performance of your computer. And for the start time code and the duration, just leave that at 0, right? So this duration, it's important, but not really important, but that depends on the kind of the time you want to put or you want to set for this your entire video or something, right? So in this case, I don't think that's necessary, but if there's any need to adjust this along the process, we can do that while we're working. So for the background color, this default, let me just move this a bit. Okay, I've not created anything yet, but this is default stuff you see around the composition. So if I should change this to right, or no, to white, as soon as I click this, you see white there, right? So for this advanced section here, let's just leave that the way it is, right? So for this other section here, you can either set this to Cinema 4D or 3D, classic 3D, but that depends on what you actually want to use to render out some stuff here. So, but if you're working on a Cinema 4D project, because recently I think Cinema 4D they integrated, or After Effects basically, there's a version, I don't know if it's this version, but there are versions that have Cinema 4D integrated here. So you can easily render Cinema 4D objects here if this is enabled, and also you can control it in this Cinema 4D space still in After Effects. But there are ways to do it, but I think we don't need that for now. Let's focus on what we came here to do. Alright, so let me create this now. Alright, so we have our composition created already. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. I think the other stuff we need to do here, rather than just creating our shapes or maybe adding text. Blah, 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 blah. Bam. Sorry, I'm just too lazy to type. Alright, let me delete this. So But this basically is composition. If you notice, Evo is highlighted here. From here you see composition. So if peradventure you want to edit this composition, you can just straight go to composition here, composition setting, and come in straight and change your name to my name, which is Promise. Yeah, or maybe probably modify the dimension to let's say 900. You can see take the fair right away. Also, you can as well change literally. You can change everything here, customize everything totally. You can even change the time frame from 22 seconds here to let's say 12 seconds, right? So all right, so you notice I changed to 12 seconds from here, and this dimension, that's the width, changes a bit, right? So well, that's that for composition. I don't think the other stuff here, right? Let's still go around here. So there are other properties here around, but all this stuff, I don't know if they are quite related to the composition, but basically these are what we'll be using most of the time: composition settings and new comp, right? So if the other things you need to do is just how to render query. So you just have to render queue. That's if you want to render projects, or probably you want to save a particular frame or preview. There are a lot of stuff, but basically we don't use most of all those things, except it depends on some scenarios or so, right? So let's just leave that for now. So, but I think that's all for composition. We've created our composition. Let me just close this. Let me just close the project. Don't save. So that's all. Or you can just come in straight, even from without even going through this place. You can just come here and create new comp too, right? Sorry I didn't show you guys this at the beginning, but you can also do that too. If I click OK, it opens and it retains the same dimension we used earlier, which is this and this, right? All right, so that's that. Those are the three ways, which is the last one I just showed you now. Those are the three ways basically to create composition in After Effects. That means let me close this again. That is selecting it from here. And also they have new composition from footage. I have not for once opened this at all before, but I want to believe this has to do with the files you want to import, like more like importing a video file. Like if I create this straight, you just go straight instead of other stuff. So but most of the time we'll be using this. So like I said, to wrap this up, you can just create it from here, or you can just go from here straight, new comp, or you can hit Control N to create a comp, right? So those are the basic three ways to create composition in After Effects.